Talking.
So,
Welcome to the Appetite for Discussion show with your host, Brendan Crouch.
thank you, Julius. Great intro as always. Hey, ladies, welcome to the Appetite for Discussion show. This
Thank
is
you.
Liz and Caity, and you guys are going to bring in something awesome to our town.
That's
Actually,
what we are trying to do. Yes.
You're bringing something back, right?
Technically,
Kinda.
yeah.
Right?
So
Right?
we are opening the new Playhouse, which the name is a throwback to the original Playhouse that was in Statesville from about the 1920s until the early 1980s. But yeah, so we're opening a multi-use performing arts venue right in downtown.
So, for people who are my age, I'm 39, and I'm not familiar with the Playhouse at all. I've heard a lot of people talk about it. It was a big thing, important thing around town. Folks older than I am always talk about, when you talk about things in Statesville, the Playhouse always seems to come up. So, what happened to? How did it first come about that you guys were interested in bringing this back to life?
Sure. Well, actually, my husband and I, my husband Morrow and I, actually met studying film, so we have a background in the arts.
Really?
We are both musicians, and I kind of come from a theater family, so this is it's kind of a natural passion for us. And one of the first things Morrow ever talked to me about when I came to Statesville to visit was the Playhouse and how much nostalgia there is for that place because everyone just had such great experiences there watching films, seeing live performances as well. It was just kind of an institution downtown until unfortunately it kind of went into decline and the whole building was torn down.
Now, when you say a background, is your family professional performers or artists or?
My mom was a professional actress.
Wow.
Yes, I know.
That's awesome.
I know. And spoiler alert, she is currently the artistic director of Theater Statesville because she followed me down here when I had a child.
Yeah.
So
Well-
she moved down from New York.
Grandma couldn't stay.
She couldn't.
Put.
She couldn't.
No,
you
and
know.
you're actually very glad Grandma came down.
I am so glad.
Yes,
So
it takes a
grateful.
village.
It does. It does. No, it's really great having her here. But and so both my parents did community theater as well. And so that's kind of where some of that comes in.
Now, are you originally from New York or around here?
I'm from New York, but I was born in California, so I'm
Okay.
kind of a half and half, and then ended up down here. It's
Man.
kind of a nice combination of the two, actually.
Yeah, sure.
North Carolina reminds me a lot of, it's a little bit of both. You
Mm-hmm.
have the nice casual vibe of California, but and the terrain of California with like the mountains and the beach.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not quite as high strung as New York.
Yeah, New York's a high-strung place, right? I love visiting New York and, doses and then come back home.
Exactly.
And then you go back and you get to feel the big city and all the, the concrete jungle, the hustle, the bustle, the great food, the this and the that. And it's like, man, I cannot wait to get home. And then you get home, but there's a little bit, you miss it. I would love to go.
Right.
My wife and I went last year for our 5th anniversary, and we went for our 1st year anniversary. I'm trying to maybe try to go back again. And she's like, don't you want to try something different? But I'm like, every time you go to New York, it's different.
It is.
You
It
know?
is. There's so many different things you can do. And Morrow and I actually just went, and we went to this show called Sleep No More. Have you heard of it?
I have not.
So it's an immersive theater experience at the McKittrick Hotel. It's this old hotel that they turned into. Yeah, it's a little creepy, but it was kind of awesome. But basically, you're in the middle of these theatrical performances, and it's performance art, and at its best. And it was kind of crazy, but completely invigorating and amazing.
So when you see stuff like that, does it inspire you when you come back home of what the vision of the new Playhouse will be like?
Absolutely. Now, I don't think that we necessarily are ready for Sleep No More or something like that.
You
in the
never
States.
know.
Well, you never know. I mean, there is the Vance Hotel. But but yeah, it is really inspiring. It's that kind of art that stays with you, that you keep talking about for days and weeks and months after. That's the kind of experience we want everyone to have at the new Playhouse, regardless of what it is, whether it's a concert or live theater or a film. We plan to do all of it.
Awesome. So when you met Morrow and you guys were talking, he would always be very nostalgic about the Playhouse. What was
Even
it
though
that
he wasn't born.
Well, I'm about to
wasn't
say
born
he's
yet when it
younger
was
than I
around.
am, right? I mean, I'm pretty sure.
Morrow
So
is an old soul,
He is. He values nostalgia.
that's
lot.
good.
but
A
he
lot of
loves
us youngsters
this
don't.
town. Yes, he loves this town, and he loves the history of downtown Statesville. And you can't talk about the history of downtown Statesville and not talk about the Playhouse.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So give our listeners who are my age and maybe younger, explain what the Playhouse was. Like most people think now, were there plays there? Was there actually, are you going to be able to go see the Avengers there? Like what type of art and shows will you be able to, did you used to be able to see? And then what will the new Playhouse, what will it offer?
Sure. Well, this is entirely based on research and what people have told me, because I also did not go to the original Playhouse. However, what I have heard is that there were live theater performances, but the main thing that the Playhouse did for many years was film screenings, and then they would also have performers come, like
Fred Kirby.
Yeah, Liz actually got to see him.
I did.
Live and in
Not at the
person.
Playhouse, but I saw him at Tweetsy. Yeah, if you're too young to know Fred Kirby, but Fred Kirby was a big deal when I was
Really
a kid.
big deal.
I'm
Real
honestly looking at you with a blank face. I'd love to
I know.
bullshit you and say, "Oh, Frank Kirby, wasn't he great?" But I have
Not
no clue
Frank
who.
Kirby, Fred Kirby.
Did I say Fred?
Well, there we go.
Yeah, I did say Fred, didn't I? Well, maybe it was his first brother Frank. I knew.
He had a TV show on Saturday mornings, and they did Little Rascals, and they did cartoons. You remember Julius?
I bet very good.
I met him when I was 2,
Oh,
and
was
apparently
older
I
than that, so
screamed. I
must
have
be older than
pictures.
that.
Well, I stayed with
Memories.
He
you.
was a singing
was
cowboy
the-
type guy.
He was the marshal at Tweetsy Railroad
Yeah,
for a
yeah.
long time too.
Yeah, he wore a cowboy.
It was a
get
big
up and
deal.
Played guitar.
But yeah, everything I've asked, like everybody that I've asked about their favorite Playhouse experience was when Fred Kirby came to Statesville.
It was a
Yeah.
big deal.
Well, apparently so.
And there are quite a few photos, and you can see you can recognize some familiar Statesville faces in some of those old photos.
Did
It's
you guys
great.
just recently maybe post something about that on social
We
media?
Oh,
did.
yeah.
I see there. I was paying attention.
We did, and a lot of those photos are courtesy of the Statesville Historic Collection.
We have to thank Steve Hill, that's
we
for
do.
sure.
Thank you, Steve.
Yeah, if you live in town and you haven't had an opportunity to go take a look at Steve's collection, you really should, because there's so much history there, and you could take the family, maybe not tiny little kids, but you could go and spend some time there and look and learn about the history of Statesville. And even if
Definitely.
you're visiting the town, I think you would find a lot of the stuff in there really neat and interesting. Before he moved to his new location, I went there, which is really close to where your shop's.
Yeah,
Is it the same store?
Yeah.
It's the same.
Well, there you go. I knew it was close. And I was flipping through one of the old police
Lots of
books.
research you did here, buddy.
Well, so I don't know if you know this, but this is a very non-scripted show. So if I met you at the bar or on an airplane or somewhere, I wouldn't have a script. So if that's how this thing rolls, man. But yeah, I was flipping through the old arrest book, and I found where my grandfather, who worked on the police department, where he, people he had arrested, and I was like, how neat is that? Sucks for that guy, but how neat is that? You get to see this little part of history. So when my grandpa talked about the old, police force days, maybe he wasn't completely full of crap. He was telling the truth.
There are records to tell the truth.
There
after
are.
all.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's crazy how much history there is here and how much of it has been preserved, and I think that's amazing. Yeah, so that is kind of what we want to bring back to downtown, a more kind of a dedicated venue for the arts nonprofits, in addition to the ones that we already have. So you have great places with character like, the Iredell Arts Council, which is the old jail. Really cool venue.
Yes.
Can hold like 50 people. And then you have something huge like Matt Gray Auditorium or even Twisted Oak, which has like dinner seating and stuff like that. But Matt Gray is like 880 seats. And sometimes that's kind of big for some of the productions that we put on here, like Theater Statesville or the Full Bloom Film Festival.
Right.
And so this would be like a middle of the like a Goldilocks venue, where it's about 200 seats.
Okay.
Just
So
right.
it's just right, for us at least. But you can you can have an intimate listening experience, with a live performance,
Mhm.
or a film screening, but it still feels like a full house.
So speaking, the Full Bloom Film Festival is coming up here in a few weeks, about a month, right?
It is.
It is. So
Yeah.
here,
September 19th through the 22nd.
and if you live here and you've never had an opportunity to go and take advantage of what's going on downtown and look at the films, it's growing every year. It's really neat. It's really interesting because most people, they're like, "You're doing what?" I mean, get out of your comfort zone a little bit. Go see some new stuff, experience some new things, see some odd films about a cockroach.
I am so surprised you remember that film
Are you serious?
from the first year.
Oh yeah, there's Richard Griggs was on here a few weeks ago or months ago or whatever, and there's still like that one where the chick was out, with not her husband camping, and her, out by the pond or whatever they were doing, and she lost her ring, and then like there's this Jeep coming. I don't know what happened, like it never finished. And I just annoyed me. My wife and I still talk about it. I was like, so you think that was her husband? Did she get ran over? Like it just.
Hey, guess what?
What?
You're still talking about it.
You are
That's
still
the
talking
point.
about it. That is the beauty of it.
Damn it. That got me. But I want to know.
Yeah.
I need closure. I need closure.
Well, I can connect you with that filmmaker, and he can explain it to you.
Yeah, one word. Dead, alive.
Dead or alive.
Whatever.
Dead or alive.
Um,
It's a fun game.
My husband came home last year talking about the kids' films because he was in the place where they'd screened, and he made us all watch it at my house. We had like a little after party, and he was so into it. He was like, "I've watched this 10 times today. I can't stop watching it."
It's really
It's the cutest
incredible.
thing.
it's a good time. It's a neat time. It's something different that you would not normally go do, and I'm so glad that it's here, and I hope it continues, and I hope it grows every year. And obviously, I would only assume that you guys are going to be incorporated too once the venues open. There'll be some sort of something going on there.
We do want the new Playhouse to be a home of sorts for some of our nonprofits in town that don't really have a home. Our homeless arts nonprofits, and that does include the Full Bloom Film Festival, which I am the festival director of that, so that's why I know so much about it. And Theater Statesville, and then Mosaic Arts, which has been around for a few years, took a break, and now it's coming back. You might have seen some stuff about it online, but it's really cool. They incorporate a lot of different kinds of performances, like opera and mixed with like modern dance and some crazy stuff. And it's completely unique every time you see it. So organizations like that, and then of course you have PAL and the Iredell Arts Council and all of those nonprofits downtown that need a venue like this. So we really want to provide that.
We also have some schools that are interested in doing some things with us.
Yes.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and especially American Renaissance School right
Oh, wow.
downtown,
Right.
across the street. So they are also interested in participating in some of our classes that we hope to hold there.
So what was the moment, or what led up to we're doing this? Like how did it come about? Like it was a concept, I'm sure.
It was totally Liz's
Liz's
idea.
idea.
Totally Liz. It was all Liz.
Do you
all
guys
the
remember
time.
the moment that it spurred and you were like, we're going to do it?
I remember the moment that I had the idea, but she had
You were
it
two.
like 6 months before I had it.
Right. It was actually pretty funny. So like a few people had talked about something like this, and it's something that Mauro and I had obviously talked about well before that, because it was the first time I visited Statesville a long time ago, and it just felt like Statesville is finally ready. We're finally at that place with where downtown is at, culturally, in terms of business, to support a venue like this. And it's not just to support the venue, it's like it's almost a necessary supplement to what's already going on downtown. There's so many amazing things every single weekend. We have breweries now. It's, it's just booming, and now is the perfect time. And on a personal level, it's kind of the perfect time in our lives to try to do something like this because, we're at that age where it's all either like, it's like do it or don't.
Right.
Either swing for the fences or just, keep it cool and keep doing what you're doing. And while we like what we're doing, we feel like this is kind of an amazing opportunity that we want to bring to Statesville.
She worded that way better than I would have. I would have went with the old shit or get off the pot.
Well, there's that too.
Yes. But you know what? It's interesting because I was having this conversation with someone just this past week about the right time for stuff. And you said this is the perfect time for you guys. And I was telling them, like, there is never, well, let me say this. I feel like there's never probably the right time to maybe get married or maybe start a family or maybe start a business or maybe buy a house or maybe do this investment or maybe do whatever. You can talk yourself a million ways out of doing something because it's not the right time.
Mm-hmm.
It's never going to be the right time.
Exactly.
So you
That's
just
why it's
do
always the right time.
Exactly.
God, look at that. Yes.
Comes full circle.
It does come full circle.
I will say that, I get a lot of credit that I opened Wine Maestro downtown, and it was at the beginning
you used to
of
own
this.
Wine Maestro?
I did. I sold it last year. Yeah. Julius knows all this stuff.
Yeah, see, I don't know, man.
Gotta give him a history lesson.
Well, I've kind of been MIA for 3 years. I have twins.
Yeah.
So enough said.
Oh,
Enough
yeah.
said.
Yeah. So I'm a little MIA on some things, but I'm coming around.
But it's funny because everybody now is like, you changed downtown. You changed downtown, and no, I didn't change downtown. Downtown was already changing.
Mm-hmm.
I just was in the right place at the right time, and that's what I feel like this project is. Like, we are in the right place at the right time. This is when it needs to happen. So,
When do you guys and dates are always shifting, and by no means will anybody hold you to it. Do you guys think you'll be open sometime next year?
That was our ambitious hope / plan. But we really are evaluating things from the perspective of we want to do this right.
Sure.
We want it to be good. We don't want to rush in and do something that is not high quality, because we want everyone to have a great experience every time they come here. And so, so maybe I think at the earliest end of next year.
Okay.
But realistically, let's be honest, folks, probably early, spring 2021 is a more realistic
they
goal.
tell us 8 months. We're
you
planning
gotta
on a
kind
little
of
more
expand
than
that.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's what, if you remember Andy who came on with Sky Mountain, they told him he had budgeted for 10 weeks and then, total of 51 weeks later.
Right.
So things happen. And what is it is it the construction that takes so long, or is it getting permits, or is it a combination of all the above? Because I imagine you guys are having to do a lot of remodeling or renovating on the inside of the building, right? Maybe even gutted. I don't know.
Yeah. So we do want to preserve as many historic features or bring back as many historic features as we can, because some of it has been kind of plastered over the years.
Sure.
Or bricked.
Or bricked over. The
wow.
beautiful large windows upstairs were all bricked up.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So they're actually supposed to be these huge, beautiful windows, and they were all bricked up.
So
make people more efficient in the '60s, I guess. But yeah, the process. It's a process, and part of it is also weighing out different options for things like acoustics, seating. Making sure that we have everything lined up properly for AVL, audiovisual lighting. Because in a historic building, especially if you want to preserve characteristics, you have to work around certain things, and it makes it a little more complicated. And we want to be delicate with the building while also creating a state of the art.
it sounds like the beauty of it is that you're not in a rush, and you're going to be able to do this the right way. And so, therefore, it's a challenge, but it's also exciting, too.
It is.
Because we've got to be open by X or blah, 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 blah. You know, I feel there's a lot of people who feel the pressure, and you guys are not feeling any pressure.
Oh no,
that
we
you
feel
have to be
tons of
open.
pressure.
We do feel
Well,
pressure.
but you're
we
hiding
just
it.
carry
No,
it. We carry it
You do.
really well.
You do.
We want to be open. We want to be open tomorrow.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is,
But we're
Yeah.
going to do it the right
way.
We're choosing to do it that way.
good for you guys.
Rather than rushing, because we care more about quality and
has
doing it
to
right
be.
from the beginning.
Well, Katie and I are both a little bit OCD when it comes to things, and
Yes.
Well, that's good.
it has to be perfect.
And plus, you guys are talking about something that is, was around for 60 years and is very nostalgic to the area. So people are going to be looking for reasons not to like it or to pick it apart or to whatever,
Well, we're ready for that.
Yeah.
bit.
But
Yeah,
I think
I mean-
overwhelming, most people are going to love it. Just the fact that, you guys have created a lot of buzz. There's a lot of people talking about it already and how wonderful it's going to be. So where was the original Playhouse located?
It was located where actually Griffin Insurance is
Yes.
there right now.
That's what I told. Okay.
Yeah, so it used to be a Wachovia. It was torn down to build that Wachovia, and then Wachovia closed. And then a bunch of other folks went in.
but the building was in such disrepair that they didn't really have an option.
Oh yeah, the original
at the
Stearns
point.
building where the
Yeah.
Playhouse was housed. It was a 6-story building with
Wow.
offices
It was-
and everything,
yeah,
and then there
huge.
also happened to be a large theater inside.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, for people listening and even myself, so there'll be plays there. There'll be obviously community theater. Will it be a music venue as well for not just maybe
Absolutely.
local people, but there could be some outside things that come in
Absolutely.
and play there.
Yeah. So music, everything you can imagine. But that's also why acoustics becomes complicated
Sure,
because
right.
We have to plan for different
different kinds of performances require different kinds of acoustics, and so we're trying to handle that the best way possible.
Man, there's so many things you guys could do.
I know.
know?
I mean, even comedy.
I was just sitting there
we want
thinking-
to do that. The seating is going to be flexible.
Oh, great.
So we can do different kinds of floor plans for different things. We can do a fashion show. We can do, people can rent it out for a reception if they want to.
Author
there
readings
are a
and book
lot of-
signings and all that kind of stuff you could have
Yeah,
there.
absolutely.
Sure.
Absolutely. Just you name it. We are planning to do some variety of it.
And when you approach the city with something like this, I imagine it was probably welcome with open arms. Like, oh, what a great idea!
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Short and sweet. Yes.
No, that's good.
And even the design review committee, took a look at our plans, and it can be a tough crowd sometimes. That's what we heard. There's a very specific aesthetic for downtown that the design review committee wants, and they were just excited. And we honestly weren't totally expecting that. We thought, oh, we're going to have to convince them on a few of these things. Let's come prepared. And they were just thrilled, honestly, at what we presented.
and they asked great questions, and
They
we
did.
had the answers.
We did, didn't we?
So, do
I
you
like when that
guys
happens.
have a background in starting something like this, or I mean, obviously you started a business and whatnot, but
I didn't start a business. I moved a business.
oh, that's right, because
But
you guys were over there by the mall.
Yeah.
I remember.
The mall that's now dead. That's why I moved.
Right. Well, it was a good idea. Genius.
No, my husband and I bought it right as not right as that whole section of town already was kind of
On the
dying out
decline.
because and it is privately owned, and they were not giving leases to people, so it wasn't a great place to be for somebody that was planning on having a business. Downtown, on the other hand, first phase of streetscape had happened. There were people moving into downtown, the Friday after fives, the pumpkin fest, the bike race, like all this stuff. So yeah, that was a great time. And we got through the second phase of streetscape. It's a hard thing to say.
It is a hard thing to say.
And just it's a great place to be. Like, it's the perfect place to be.
Right.
But yeah, as far as starting a business, we
As far as starting a theater, no, we have not started
No,
a
we
theater
have not
before.
started a theater.
However, we do feel like we have the background and experience to make this successful. Liz has been an entrepreneur before. She has made a very successful business out of pretty much nothing, and I actually worked for a film production and distribution company in New York for a couple of years, and that was like boot camp for the entertainment business, and so we feel pretty good about it. And the company I worked for was ATO Pictures, which is actually owned by Dave Matthews. So I was in the same office as like ATO Records, which is his music company. Now, funny enough, the film company no longer exists. They closed after I left. I don't know if it's a coincidence or
Nope.
not.
Yep, absolutely.
But it was really great and a wild ride.
And she has Dave Matthews' number in her phone.
Well,
I
so
think that phone died actually.
what I was surely it's in the cloud, right? It's in the cloud.
Probably.
So what I'm hearing is that at some point, possibly the grand opening, Dave Matthews will play a very intimate session for 200 of his closest friends in Statesville.
Absolutely.
But no
That is
pressure.
very-
Mark it on your calendar. folks.
He's coming in.
That would be something. But if there's any two ladies that can do it, it's you two.
Exactly.
That's what we're thinking. And then also, the other members of our team are my husband Mauro, and as I already mentioned, he has a film and music background.
Yeah.
And then also Laura Spencer Hall is our office manager
She's
slash
amazing.
keeper of the keys. She's the one who keeps us in line.
You
She's
have to have
amazing.
one. You have
We
to have
do.
someone to
You
keep you
can already
in line.
see that it's probably a difficult job to keep the two of us.
No, I don't think so. You guys you probably have your visions and your task and your goal oriented, and you don't need her to help you stay focused, and
Yeah, we
This is
do.
true.
vice versa.
No, we definitely need her.
Well, I need handlers. I need my wife, and when I'm at work, I need my work wives because there's more than one there.
You know what? It's a real thing.
It is a real thing.
It's a real thing.
And my wife knows about them. And she's like, thank God you're there. I mean, it's true. I mean, when I worked at the hospital, I had 30 mamas there and wives who were taking care of me. And now, with my other job, I've got two. One for sure. And then when she's out of the office, Gwen has to step up.
So does that mean we have to share Laura as our work wife?
Well, we're more like sister work wives.
Oh,
Isn't there a
Sister
TV show
Wives.
called Sister Wives?
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Now we're getting
We're
into
not-
a
we're not gonna
whole
do that.
nother thing.
We're not gonna
Well, I've
do
never
that.
seen this. I don't know what Sister Wives is.
Oh, don't.
I got a quick
No.
question about the venue. Was that your first and only choice of buildings, or what were some of your other choices?
So we were presented with a couple of different options, none of which we felt were really suitable from a sound perspective, and it mostly consisted of the empty lots and I don't even know what you would call it, a garage, I guess, on McElwee, near the fire station. Other than that, there weren't a ton of options actually for being right downtown.
Gotcha.
And we do feel like that's important. I mean, in terms of the success of the venue, as well as just creating a great experience for folks, being able to go to dinner, go see a show, grab a drink, all in one place, walking distance it's a game changer. Like,
Oh, for
I
sure.
think so. So realistically, we didn't really have other candidates. This really was our main choice.
And that also says a lot about downtown Statesville, though, that there are not a lot of available properties right now.
Right.
Not that
I mean,
big.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Not for this anyway.
So, you guys have mentioned sound a few times and how critical sound's going to be. How do you not perfect the sound, but how do you make sure that the sound or the acoustics is right in an already established structure? How would you go about that?
So this has been a bit of a learning process for us as well, because we knew a little bit, but not a ton.
Yep.
But we've spoken to a few acoustics folks and an acoustical engineer, and there's so many different factors that go into this. It's insane. It's kind of like when you see a show. It's exactly like when you see a show and you have no idea how much goes into just the production of that one scene. But I mean, anything from the kind of flooring, the kind of ceiling, acoustic panels on the walls. But ideally we'd have something that's a little bit modular so that we can change it depending
Sure.
on the kind of performance. So for a rock band, you want there to be a lot of reverberation, or more reverberation. With spoken word theater, you need to have a good balance of reverberation and trapping the sound so that you can hear them, but it's not echoing.
God, I'm excited. Why are you not open? Hurry up. What are we
Okay.
doing? I'm ready to go see it.
Well, we are still in the process of financing as well.
Okay.
So give us some money.
So give us money,
Before we
and
leave.
everything will be solved.
We can do a GoFundMe. We can do a Kickstarter or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are actually planning on doing something along those lines, just to supplement the financing that we are already working to get, and it'll involve some perks for anyone who donates to this
PSLs.
cause.
Sure.
Pretty
You
good
could
perks.
do PSLs,
Some pretty
like
good perks, yeah.
like the
Football
football stadium.
Well, that's what I was thinking. What if you own like a box seat? You sold them
Permanent
to
seat license.
something like that.
Well, then we'd have to build a box seat,
Well-
and that'll take another 6
Yeah,
By
months.
not
box
figuratively
seat, we mean
speaking,
like-
but
like
VIP
good
seating
seats.
or
Yes.
whatever.
Yes, we
Circle
have.
seating.
We definitely have a VIP program in the
Right.
works, and
And it's kind of like a we shouldn't reveal all of our tricks. However,
No.
the ticketing platform that we're going to use, Vendini, they're pretty amazing, and they have fully integrated technology so that we know when a VIP checks in, and we can go down and give them the VIP treatment.
Beautiful.
so if you
And
spend a certain amount of money
so if you
when you walk in the door,
you will get the white glove treatment.
I'm going to show up with a glass of champagne and
So-
take you to your seat.
So what you're saying is you get upgraded to first class,
You get upgraded.
Exactly.
as we were
Exactly.
speaking earlier.
And that wasn't even.
Exactly.
You didn't even have that on the show, so nobody else knows what we're talking about.
That's okay.
But yeah, the
We'll get
upgrades
to
are
it.
great.
We'll get about your angriness and being the curtain shut in your face. Why you shut the curtain in my face?
Never been upgraded.
Speaking of tickets and whatnot, so with something like this coming, one of the things I think to mind is it's going to be great and people are going to get to enjoy it. But, unfortunately, we do live in a town where income is not, we have a lower, I think, than poverty level income, right? Than the national average. Well, what will your ticket, you probably don't even know yet, but,
Yes, we do.
We actually do.
oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah, we've thought about this.
Okay. So it'll be where all sorts of people from, socioeconomic backgrounds be able to afford to go and experience the new Playhouse.
Absolutely. I think our average ticket price is between $10 and $25.
Okay.
Depending on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And then we would like to get like headliners
Mm-hmm.
a couple times a year, but even then we don't have crazy ticket prices.
No, they're very reasonable.
They are very
And we're
reasonable.
really working hard also to keep those fees and everything that you have to pay on the back end. When you order something from Ticketmaster,
Right. So it's not
So when you say fees, like, what do you mean? Explain that.
Oh,
Because I
like-
have no idea. Look, you guys are going to learn real quick. I don't know anything about anything. I'm 2 IQ points away from, not being in a good place.
well, it's a good thing you have your own show. That's really smart, Julius.
I love it.
Hey, I did something right.
You did do something right.
No, it's credit card fees, and we have to pay fees to our platform, of course. But look, when you buy a ticket from Ticketmaster, you'll buy a $60 ticket, but you end up paying $90.
Yeah, isn't that great?
Because there's so many, fees
so
on the
great.
back end. So that's something that we're really trying to. And with our platform, we get to set that fee, so we can absorb what we want to absorb. We can, we don't have to be
we just try to make it fair.
exactly.
Would you guys, so this is a platform you're using. You're not going to create your own platform.
Well,
Oh yeah, we're not that special.
I don't know. You guys are pretty wicked smart. I don't know.
Yeah, if only we were from Boston.
There's an app for that.
No, I mean, I
No.
mean, I can't even explain the level to which this ticketing platform is. I mean, it's so high tech, and fully integrated with social media, fully integrated with customer relations management. I mean, we can manage, a seating plan on this ticketing platform, so you can see what your view is going to be.
It is
from
like
the-
Ticketmaster.
It
No, it's better
is
than
better.
Well, of course it
Ticketmaster.
is. It's called Ventini.
It's called
What's it called?
Vendini.
Vendini.
Yes.
Yeah, Frank, Fred, same thing.
But when you go in to pick your seat, like when you click on your seat, it's going to show you the view of our stage that you will have from your seat.
That's awesome.
Right.
Yeah,
That's actually really neat.
it's pretty badass.
Yeah, that is pretty badass. Good job. Who thought of that? Morrow.
Not us.
That was Morrow.
See there. You're welcome.
It was.
Shout out to Morrow. So, you're thinking probably into 2021. What else do you guys have on the horizon? Because what I mean by that is, so there's this buzz that's happening now, and everybody's very excited. But things are secular; it'll fall off, and then so. Is there anything you guys like? I don't know, like not a pre-release, but maybe you guys are going to have like a new Playhouse. You're going to try something different, keep people interested, engaged. Maybe you don't actually have it at the Playhouse yet. Maybe you partner with someone else.
Sure.
Look at the way she's looking at me.
No. I mean, we are actually planning to do that to keep interest alive, and also to update folks. We're going to keep everyone updated on social media, and on the website that will launch within the next month or so. And we are actually going to be participating in Art Crawl.
Oh, very
so
nice.
it'll be at our building. It will look nothing like the end product, but
that's good.
But we're
though.
going to just be there, have fun, have some folks there.
It's gonna be.
It's going to be awesome.
So Caity doesn't really know about
This was
Art
the
Crawl.
one thing I was left out of the loop intentionally.
Yeah. We have
I'm a little
some
nervous.
really amazing things planned. Morrow is in charge.
He is. He is.
So
He's all
that
about
means
fun.
we'll have all kinds of nerdy fun things.
We're nerds. We're nerds. We're big nerds.
No, you guys don't seem nerdy.
And
I can spot a
we're
nerd
so
a mile
nerds.
away.
Oh,
Don't get us into a Staples.
don't get us into a Staples.
Hey,
Don't,
just
don't
because
get
you're
us into a comic book shop.
Oh
you know.
no, yeah.
I mean, Morrow knows everything about
Talking about movie. I mean,
Marvel,
yeah,
DC,
just,
you name it.
I know nothing about that stuff, but I love organization. I love Staples.
Staples is
I like to be
great.
organized.
We get excited about that.
we've already decided we have to have a budget for our office supplies because we're
Staples.
kind of.
I almost got lost at TJ Maxx just looking at all of their pretty office supplies that they had. Ugh, it's crazy.
So now, are there any old artifacts that was preserved and that you have access to from the old Playhouse that
That's
you're going to
a great
incorporate?
question.
Well, thank you.
You're full of great questions.
Well,
it's almost like you guys
Wow.
know how to interview people.
I mean,
I don't know about that.
you act like you actually did a little bit of homework.
No,
Mm.
zero.
We our biggest fun thing is that we actually have a set of 4 chairs that were from the old Playhouse, and
That's
they
cool.
were from the balcony, which was the
in the time of segregation, it
Yes.
was the colored section.
Really?
yes.
And there are folks in town who
Remember
remember that very
Yep.
well.
So I did not realize, and again, I don't know anything about this. So there was a balcony at
There
the
was.
original Playhouse. Will
Yes.
will there be a balcony at the new Playhouse?
No.
No.
it is not in the
No.
plans as of today.
As of today, none of the plans will accommodate that.
Well, I
Again,
understand.
intimate venue.
Intimate.
But but it is an interesting part of the history of the old Playhouse. And we're grateful to actually have a piece of that.
Mm-hmm.
But we understand that there's a lot of weight that comes with that memory as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You guys have big curtains to fill.
Yeah.
Oh,
big curtains to open, perhaps.
Oh, yeah. Maybe that's right. See there, I told you were smart.
we're happy to open those curtains.
Metaphorically and literally.
That's right.
It's starting
Don't
to
even
sound
get me
weird.
started about opening the curtains.
It's starting to sound weird. She made a GIF. She made a
did.
GIF of curtains
did.
opening. She spent a lot of time.
Did you really?
I'm a nerd. I didn't spend that much time.
How do you even make a GIF? And by the way, is it GIF or GIF?
You know what?
It's Jif.
We call it
Like the peanut
GIF,
butter?
but it's technically a GIF because it's graphics. It's supposed to
Up
be
here.
graphics.
Okay, I went to graphic school. You can call it either one. It's fine.
You can? All right. So everybody knows what you're talking about.
Yeah.
GIF.
Yeah.
I call it GIF. I'm wrong?
GIF works too. It doesn't matter. It's a movable picture, and it's really awesome. And I was really happy
It's
that I finally
beautiful.
made one.
It's beautiful.
Well, you'll
that
have to
was her
send it
first
to
goal.
me. I would love to see it.
I'm gonna.
It's beautiful.
Do you guys have a picture or anything of like what the original Playhouse sign looked like or the awning or whatever?
We do. And actually, Steve Hill does, and he actually has a 3D model of the entire Stearns building. It's
Really?
incredible.
He shared a lot, and then we also had. I wish I could remember the name of the person who shared all the things from the. If you're from Iredell, Statesville
Yeah.
page, is that Linda Larkin? I think maybe does that. Iredell County. I don't know.
Does it
But there, yeah. If you're from Iredell, she sent me a lot of pictures. So
There are also some pictures that I found that were taken by the U.S. government Don't know why. They were recording landmarks, I believe.
Really?
And the Stearns building was one of them. It was like in the 50s that they took those photos, so we have some of those as well.
What is it? What was it called? You see them in New York in front of the theaters where the
marquee.
The marquee. Will this have a marquee?
So that's something that we're going to work towards with the city, because currently the regulations don't really support that. But
They can be sticklers with signs, I hear.
they can be. And so we are trying to find a tasteful medium ground that would allow us to have some kind of digital marquee, because we do think that that's important.
I think if you got the old school marquee, it would be awesome.
I'm
And I
pretty sure
support
that's
it.
gone. I'm pretty sure it's gone forever.
Yeah.
Replicate.
We can't get back.
Can-
Well,
right, we
if
try
you
to
could
have it
replicate
be,
it,
yeah.
like if they would allow you to go like complete
But
replica
also-
of the old school.
But wait a minute. Okay, so our programming, we're in a 7-day time frame.
Mhm.
We might have 4 different shows. I am not getting a ladder out and climbing up there to change those
Well, you
letters.
gotta be
every day.
Yeah,
dedicated.
no, and I'm like 5'1". It's just a disaster.
I'm
Amazing.
dedicated, but I am not that dedicated.
I understand the 5 foot.
So
Yeah,
Not
we're,
much part.
We're looking more towards the digital.
Okay.
Yeah, almost like a paperwhite digital,
But something.
so that it's not like
It
blaring
could
in
look
everyone's face.
similar, but
Gotcha.
yes, we will not be getting the 9-foot ladder out every day.
No, that's not happening.
So would you guys show like older films from time to time, like
Of
a Gone with the
course.
Yes.
Wind or something like that, or
Absolutely.
I just posted Gone with the Wind last week. You saw that. I
maybe
guess.
that's why I was thinking about that because I saw it.
Probably.
Did they used to show old films like that or older films like
Yeah,
that?
I
at
mean,
the
it was
Playhouse?
as they were being released at
Really?
the time.
So it was okay.
So they did show a lot of those classic films that you always think of with old
Man.
Hollywood. So we are going to do that. We want to do like a throwback film series,
Yes.
and then also show independent films that you don't have access to in this area.
That's awesome.
That's what we
We'll
want
do,
to do.
and with family
And family films,
holiday
especially
stuff.
especially like over the summer and holidays. We want to do thematic like
Yes.
family films.
And then I'm sure that we will go into doing some kind of like showing a series of films, like it's a Back to the Future weekend, or and knowing Morrow.
Well, yeah, he did dress up as Marty McFly.
Yeah, I
in-
mean,
in
there's definitely going to be
2015.
some kind of throwback.
there has to be some 80s,
Ghostbusters,
yes,
I mean, it's
for sure.
It's all
Oh, yeah.
going to happen.
There's a lot to work with.
I mean, the possibilities are really endless of what you guys have up your sleeves and what you're going to do and what you're going to pull off.
Yep, and it just comes down to licensing the material.
So, will you serve any food?
We are going to have a concessions area that
Okay.
has wine and beer,
Oh,
and
so
of
there-
course,
you'll be some-
and of course, non-alcoholic drinks as well.
Yeah.
But and then some like popcorn and light concessions.
Yeah.
We're not going to do anything cray.
We're going
Right.
to have the
That's
best
good.
popcorn you've ever had.
Hey,
Well,
that's all you
I-
need.
Liz is going to
popcorn
make it
my
herself.
mission.
Well, having good popcorn is important.
It has to be popcorn
It
that
is.
goes with good wine, because I'm also going to make sure we have good beer.
Maybe
wine.
different flavored popcorn that like
There
a
you go.
popcorn and wine flight.
I'm doing it.
I'm
Popcorn
doing it.
and wine flight.
Yeah. Who
Have you ever
knew?
had one of those?
Who
Did you
knew?
just create something?
We just made that happen.
You should probably trademark that.
We should.
I really just think y'all came up with something here. Well, congratulations.
Thank
See,
you.
there you are an entrepreneur. Duh.
Yeah.
So, can you give the folks what the actual physical address of the new Playhouse is in downtown?
Sure. It's 212 South Center Street, and it's right next to First Flight Bicycles, and they're going to love us.
Well, yeah.
I'm just kidding. That's part of the acoustic treatment, so that we don't shake the walls so much that like their bikes fall off the wall. We're not
I didn't
gonna
even think
do
of that. That's a good point.
Yeah, we're gonna work on that one.
Yeah.
And do you guys have a website that people can go check out yet?
We're
Not
still
yet.
working on
we
it.
have a Facebook
Okay.
page,
Okay.
but we are building the website as we speak.
So, are you on Instagram as well? They can find you there, or
Yes.
just
we
on?
we have Facebook and Instagram
Okay.
right now. So it's just the new Playhouse. And I brought you guys some little cards.
Yeah,
Oh.
we have our
Thank you.
ambitious state on these cards.
Yeah, this is
Great.
This is
ambitious.
ambitious.
Well, you guys can pull it off. I feel
But yeah,
for certain.
follow us on Facebook and Instagram for sure, and we are posting regularly. Right now, it's a lot of throwback stuff and kind of what do you want to see, because we're trying to build this around what the community wants. So yeah.
So when you guys are open, how about we do this again?
Sure.
That sounds great.
But we do it from your venue.
Yeah.
That sounds even greater.
And-
live feed.
Well, yes, live feed. But what we're going to do is we'll give them a tour for those who haven't seen it, so they can get a look, in front of the curtain and behind the curtain, maybe backstage, so people can see how the magic
Wizard of
is
Oz
made.
aspect.
Absolutely. That sounds great.
Perfect. Anything else you want to tell the listeners or the guest?
Oh my goodness. No,
Or the guest.
just
Yourselves. Told you wasn't that bright.
yeah, just look out. We're gonna be rolling out a lot of our perk programs and some opportunities for you guys to help us get this project going here in the next month. So keep an eye out.
Awesome. Well, everybody, pay attention on Facebook and all your social media platforms for the new Playhouse. That's how they can find you. And if you have an opportunity, please go and check out the Full Bloom Film Festival, which is September the 19th through the 22nd.
That is correct.
Right? And
Art Crawl also.
It's
Come
coming.
see
Art
us at
Crawl, which is the weekend before the film festival.
Yeah.
It's the 13th, Friday the 13th.
Really?
I'm suspicious. I'm superstitious, man.
Yeah.
It
Makes
is
me
Friday the
nervous.
13th.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you, Liz and Caity, for coming on. I want everybody to go when you guys are finally going to be open to go out and support and check out things new. Always support local. And thank you to my sponsors. Thank you to States Vegas Radio. Thank you to States Vegas Clothing for providing me with all of my T-shirts this year. And thank you to kasey.tate at Farm Bureau Insurance. Thank you to Black Flag Holster Company. And who am I missing? Dustin McCrary at Dustin McCrary Law.
How could
Thanks,
you forget
everybody.
Dustin?
What? I had a brain fart. But at any rate, so love you guys. Thanks for listening in again. And listen, laugh, and learn. We'll talk to you again soon. Thanks.